right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Weather impact alert days for Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm timing out thunderstorm chances and high wind gusts.
A violent weekend in St. Louis comes on the eve of a mayoral primary. Tonight, the voters weigh in on crime.
Crime was never like this.
Statistics with the fewer police officers is better.
Scary sale on an online marketplace.
And the next thing you know, that's when he come out with his pistol.
Tonight, one couple's warning and why they may not be the only victims.
We start with that weather impact alert. It is all quiet outside right now, but as Futurecast shows us, it's going to be a stormy morning. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The threat of storms and strong winds has us in a weather impact alert through Wednesday. Meteorologist Jim Castillo is tracking it all for us tonight. Jim?
Yes, 2 days of active weather, and right now the weather radar is not indicating any echoes, but by morning, storms are possible. And we're not looking for widespread severe weather, but isolated cells with possibly hail or quarter-inch hail there. Windy for tomorrow, gusts to about 40 miles an hour, but up to 50-mile-per-hour gusts as we get into Wednesday. So again, storms and high winds. Secure any outdoor items before we get this activity. And look how big this storm system is out to the west of us. There's the area of low pressure, snow even around the Denver area or in parts of Colorado. Severe thunderstorm watch there in Kansas, and tornado watches now brand new all the way from Oklahoma down into Texas. The bullseye for severe weather is expected to be from Arkansas down into Texas, East Texas. And for us, we do have an isolated risk of severe cells. Hail for the morning hours, a possibility, and especially from Interstate 70 southward, and then high wind gusts later in the afternoon, but we really can't rule out a spin-up tornado. So we'll keep our eyes on this, and I'll update you in a few minutes in Maine weather and time this all out coming up.
You can always get the latest weather impact forecast on the 5 Plus streaming app. It's free to download and to watch on your Apple, Roku, or Fire TV device. Just search for KSDK in your app store. We're now less than 8 hours away from polls opening in tomorrow's St. Louis City municipal primary.
And it could be a consequential vote in the mayoral race. A new poll over the weekend shows Mayor Tashara Jones trailing Alderwoman Kara Spencer, her opponent from 4 years ago. Jones is ahead of Michael Butler and Andrew Jones. If this holds true, this will lead to a mayoral race rematch in the April 8th general election.
And top of mind for many voters, crime. The primary comes on the heels of a violent weekend in the city of St. Louis. Since Friday, at least 6 people were shot. 3 of the victims died, including a 9-month-old baby. St. Louis police also investigating 3 carjackings and 3 armed robberies. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon talked with voters tonight about how crime in the city is affecting their vote. Brent.
Well, does crime have to define our city? Are we doing enough to hold criminals accountable? Those questions on many voters' minds tonight, while some tell me crime will happen anywhere, no matter where you live.
I always vote. I never miss a vote.
On the Monday before Election Day, we caught up with voters who showed up to the polls to vote early.
Hour ago.
After a violent weekend in St. Louis, we wanted to know if crime is impacting who many of you are voting for.
It's very important because I got siblings go to school.
For Tamani Combs, it's an important topic.
I lost my sister I was 19 years old. Yeah, I lost my sister. My grandma lost her grandson.
I've been gone for 25 years. It is way worse than what it was when I left. Crime was never like this at this level.
St. Louis police say crime continues to drop since 2022 and points out that at this time last year, the city saw 32 homicides compared to 15 right now.
Statistics with the fewer police officers is better. So why are people talking about they're not safe?
The way people feel will certainly dictate the way they vote.
You want somebody to protect our people out here nowadays.
I think everybody needs to work together, not just the mayor alone. I think everybody needs to work together.
I don't see how nothing is getting done with this current mayor. God bless her soul, I just don't see it.
And give her time. That's what I say. You give a lot of other people time and they don't do nothing.
The mayor points to police building relationships with the community, building trust, and continued investment in non-police groups to de-escalate situations. We reached out to the other candidates running for mayor to get their thoughts about crime. We'll let you know when we hear back. Live downtown, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Besides the mayoral race, primaries are being held for city comptroller and board of aldermen races in wards 3 and 11. The polls will open at 6 a.m. tomorrow and close at 7 p.m. You can vote at any polling location in the city.
And remember, the city of St. Louis uses nonpartisan approval voting in the municipal primary. This means you can vote for just one candidate, or you can vote for as many candidates as you approve of in each race. The top 2 vote getters will then face off in the April 8th general election, and on that ballot, you can only vote for one candidate. We put together a complete voter guide on KSDK.com. Just text the word guide to 314-425-5355, and we'll send a link straight to your phone.
We'll have all the results and live team coverage from the campaigns tomorrow night on 5 on your side at 10. Our coverage begins at 8 p.m. with election results on the 5+ streaming app. If you have a Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV, you can watch for free by searching for KSDK in your app store. New at 10, a St. Francis County couple has a warning for people who use Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, they were robbed at gunpoint while making a sale over the weekend in North St. Louis. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski spoke with the victims who were told by police this wasn't the robbers' first time. Laura.
Mike and Kelly, the couple says St. Louis police actually called them on the way to our interview to tell them the man who did this is in custody, but they still want other people to be aware it can happen to anyone buying or selling online.
On Sunday afternoon, Alexis Cruz and Christopher Hummel were selling this electric fireplace on Facebook Marketplace. The buyer, Hot Rod Scott, said he'd pay more if they'd deliver it to his home in the 800 block of Blaze Avenue in St. Louis. It was on their way to a side job.
I took it over there first, and I told her, I said, just stay in the truck. And I was like, I'll help carry this in. He wanted to see if it plugged in and it worked, which was understandable. I'm like, sure.
But once the buyer had proof it worked, things changed.
That's when he come out with his pistol, pointed straight at me. And I was like, you're really going to shoot me over a fireplace? Over $240? You're going to take me away from my kids and take you away from your kids? And that's when he walked closer and he put the gun to my head and he's like, you and her better leave now.
Alexis says after a few minutes went by, she was starting to get worried.
So I called his phone and it starts ringing right next to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, not even 2 minutes later, he comes running out and he jumps in the car or in the truck and he's like, you need to call the police right now. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? My heart was just racing.
They say St. Louis police responded right away, only to tell them they weren't the first ones this happened to. So they made a post on Facebook warning others. And then the comments and messages from other victims came flooding in, including another person selling a fireplace.
There was a cell phone that he stole from a guy. He actually held a AK-47 up to his head. And this was recent, so he saw the post and he was able to get in contact with the police as well.
Just hours after their post went viral, they found out the suspect had been arrested and police told them they could have their fireplace back. So they went back to the house where it started and loaded it onto their truck.
I can't believe it blew up that quick, but in the end, it helped them catch him sooner.
I feel like honestly, I feel like we saved somebody's life. Yeah. I really do.
Alexis and Chris say they want other buyers and sellers to be safe and always make transactions in a public place like a police department or a busy gas station. They don't want to see this happen to anyone else.
2 teens now charged for shooting at a student who just got off his school bus in Alton. Police arresting 18-year-old Daniel Colin and a 16-year-old juvenile over the weekend. The student was not hurt. Bullets did hit a nearby home. Police hope the quick arrest sends a clear message that violent crime has no place in Alton.
Tonight we learned a St. Peter's woman was in court in Puerto Rico today where she pled not guilty to arson charges. Daniel Bertozzi is accused of burning down 3 businesses on the island back in January. Authorities believe she intentionally set the fire after a fight with workers at one of the businesses. If convicted, she faces 5 years in prison. Tonight, the African Americans dropped the puck on their bid for a national title.
This comes just 3 months after their teammate Colin Brown was shot and killed by a stray bullet while riding home from a game. And new tonight, Andy Krall shows us how Brown's legacy is now helping his fellow hockey players.
Just making sure his name lives on. That's my goal.
One of many goals on Monday night as Colin Brown's former African-American head coach Bob Jakubak and teammates hope to make many more against the St. Louis Sting 16U team to get a bid to nationals.
They're a big rival of ours. They were actually the first team that we played after Brownie's death, so it's going to bring back a lot of memories.
The start of a 4-game round robin, hopefully ending in a championship game Sunday. But we already have a winner as of this weekend at the Mid-States High School Championship game, CBC hockey player Joe Potter, the inaugural recipient of the $5,000 collegiate scholarship that bears his former teammate's name.
After Brownie passed, we found out he donated all his orchids. He saved 4 lives. Now he's helping similar young men chase their dreams in college. Brownie was a gifted, incredibly gifted student. He was going to go to Michigan. He was going to be an orthopedic surgeon. I have no doubt that he was going to be extremely successful.
One of the reasons Missouri hockey wanted to award the scholarship on Friday was to take a moment to remember Brown during the high school state championships. It's a new tradition that'll be here for many years to come.
He had several letters of recommendation, including from the principal, about his academic success.
A bittersweet way to remember the 16-year-old hit and killed by a stray bullet on I-55 near Loughborough Avenue just before Thanksgiving.
What's really moving to me is the Brown family was in attendance, and they were able to go on the ice for the presentation, which that was so meaningful for me.
Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
For any local senior high school hockey players interested in the Colin Brown Hockey Scholarship, applications will likely open again in December.
Cheerleading chaos.
People are screaming, crying. They don't know where their mom is.
Tonight, local squads relive frightening moments at a national competition. A rise in measles cases raising concerns about immunity. Tonight, health experts weigh in on who should get a booster shot.
Weather impact alert days Tuesday and Wednesday have timing out thunderstorm chances and high wind gusts.
Tonight, local cheerleading squads are back home and safe after their competition in Dallas turned to chaos.
Rumors of an active shooter on Saturday led to panic and confusion as thousands of young cheerleaders and their parents ran for safety. Dallas police say there was no active shooter. A fight led to poles being knocked down, causing a loud noise. Rachel Meyer and her 9-year-old daughter Stella from St. Charles County were outside. She broke her nose in the mayhem.
They were yelling that there was a shooter, and I looked at Stella and I said, all right, we got to go the other way. And we went to turn around, and that's when I was pushed, and I had no time to react.
Myers was one of several people who were hurt. Dallas police have not made any arrests. Tonight, the spike in measles cases in the U.S. has led to a call to action from Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy.
In a recent op-ed, he's encouraging parents to vaccinate their children with the measles, mumps, and rubella or MMR vaccine. However, he adds it's ultimately the parent's decision. Kennedy goes on to say, quote, vaccines not only protect individual children from measles, but also contribute to community immunity, protecting those who are unable to be vaccinated due to medical reasons.
So far this year, 164 cases have been reported in 7 states, with 146 in Texas alone, including the death of a child. According to the CDC, no cases have been reported in Missouri or Illinois. And almost all those cases are people under 20 who are not vaccinated.
The spike in measles might have some wondering if they should get an MMR booster shot, even if they were vaccinated as a child. Christine Pei went straight to infectious disease experts to find out.
Measles outbreaks in the U.S. has medical circles underlining the importance of measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination among children. But what about adults who got the vaccine decades ago? CDC guidelines say adults who have documentation of MMR vaccination as children should have sufficient immunity. And adults who were born before 1957, regardless of vaccination, are presumed to have natural immunity because of the prevalence of measles at the time.
But for people born after 57 or people who just aren't sure about their immunity or maybe only received 1 dose of the vaccine, that's when we need to start thinking about, do they need a booster?
Dr. Seth Cohen is the medical director of infection prevention at the UW Medical Center. He says he is noticing more adult patients asking about getting a measles booster.
I would say my colleagues in pediatrics often think about measles much more frequently. But unfortunately, even in adult medicine, now we have to be thinking about it as well. And so I think there is a more general awareness that people may not be immune or there may need to be additional boosters.
Dr. Cohen emphasizes the measles vaccine is highly effective, but with an increase in cases, he says it doesn't hurt to undergo a titer, which is checking antibody levels from a blood test. And if you have travel plans this spring break,
There's still a lot of measles out there internationally. And so if you're traveling, it's a great idea to make sure that to go talk to your doctor and make sure that you have enough antibodies in your body to protect you against measles should you come across it.
However, Cohen says pregnant women or those with compromised immune systems should consult with their doctor before pursuing a measles booster. The ultimate concern, doctors say, is how contagious the measles virus is.
It is a very smart virus. And at this point, I am much more concerned or scared about measles than I am about COVID, for example. And COVID is still very serious in our community.
In the year 2000, measles was declared to have elimination status in the U.S., meaning there was no continuous spread of the disease in a span of a year, a status that has in recent years been at risk.
For HealthLink, I'm Christine Pei reporting.
Dr. Cohen emphasizes the MMR vaccine has no association with autism, saying the original paper that suggested that has been fully debunked.
Meteorologist Jim Castillo is back with the weather impact forecast. You're keeping a close eye on what could be going down tomorrow.
Yes, so March comes in like a lion, they say. Now, maybe the first couple of days wasn't really like that, but now we're going to have 2 days where it really roars like a lion. And right now, we're good. In fact, nothing big going on. And just wanted to point out that it is Severe Weather Preparedness Week, starting today all the way through Friday. And today's subject is just basically receiving weather information. And so, for example, if you have an iPhone, you go to your notifications, and if you haven't turned those on, or maybe you turned them off, you need to remind yourself to turn them back on. Emergency alerts, public safety alerts, just flip those on, because even by morning, there's a risk of seeing some storms with the possibility of maybe some hail with them, and then later in the day, a chance of high wind gusts within the storms. But 70, almost 70 today, 66 for that high, 57 for the current temperature. It's a really spring-like night, and it's on the breezy side for sure. Overnight lows, we're in the 50s now, likely staying in the 50s for overnight lows, and the wind gust as high as 30 miles an hour and as high as 40 miles an hour tomorrow. So here's that low, snow behind it. That's in Colorado at the moment. And then severe weather now breaking out Oklahoma City to Wichita. And that bullseye of severe weather for tomorrow is expected to be all the way through Arkansas southward. This is where the higher risk of that spin is in the atmosphere, or that wind shear and the possibility of tornadoes. Now, maybe our southwestern sections of the area could see a brief spin-up tornado, but again, the morning storm activity may see hail up to quarter size in isolated cases right along Interstate 70, and then later in the day, maybe a storm cell with a high wind gust within it. And then we'll watch that spin in the atmosphere throughout the day. So the Futurecast is showing that cluster of storms at 6 a.m., and it could be right over the metro. We'll see where it sets up. And then as we get into the late morning hours, here's 11 a.m., probably a nice break, but then you see all of this weather to the west of us. Put that into motion. It just rumbles through the area here. So rain for sure, isolated severe wind gust, and definitely some lightning and thunder within that. So watch behind me. There's an area of low pressure. This is when we'll get the stronger wind gust on Wednesday. So some snow showers in here possible, but yeah, that wind could be whipping up to about 50 miles an hour, maybe even a little higher in spots. Okay, 7-day forecast, weather impact alert days for the next couple of days. And it's really cold on Wednesday, by the way. Dressing in layers is a great idea. And snow showers, don't be surprised if you see that Wednesday.
That's crazy.
I know. And by the weekend, though, it's back in the 50s and sunny.
That's what we need. All right, Jim, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Well, there is one Cardinal hitter turning heads in Jupiter. There is a young player on the Blues who's doing the same. And I got a story on a college athlete who's mixing two sports together that I've never seen blended before. Stick around, please.
Taking Flight, Card Spring Training, sponsored by Woods Basement Systems.
The Cardinals had a day I dream of: golf, seafood, and a nap. But after their day off today, they will face the Mets tomorrow. Zach Thompson will not be participating. He injured his lat and won't pitch for a month. The story of the spring has to be Victor Scott II. He's 5 for 9 with a homer and a triple. I know he hit just 179 last year, but it was just in 145 at-bats, and he was 23 years old. Remember what Mason Wynn was like the year before his breakout season last year. And if Scott does break out, well, get ready.
We haven't seen something like Victor Scott since Vince Coleman, plain and simple. The ability to get on base, the ability to steal second, the ability to steal third, and defensively, he's a much better outfielder than Vince Coleman was. And that's not taking anything away from Vince, but he can cover. He can cover, he can go back, he does a lot of things, and he's still raw.
Our town continues to land big-time events. On June 3rd, the women's national soccer team will play China PR at Energizer Park, and the 3-time Olympian Becky Sauerbrunn will be honored, and then she will do the broadcast. I'd like to broadcast right now that Zach Bolduc is busting out for the Blues. Another goal last night, and now 4 in his last 5 games for the 22-year-old former first-round draft pick. His coach was succinct after the game, but he wasn't hiding his enthusiasm.
I mean, he just seems like a more and more confident NHL player, and we're just starting to see the beginning of, I think, his career.
SLU is at Dayton tomorrow, and they will bring with them the A10 Co-Player of the Week, Robbie Avila. He got the honor after averaging 23 points over 2 games, shooting 57 from the field and 50% from 3. He's a rare 6'10" center with guard skills. So it's Women's History Month, and today we are going to show you a woman who is a wonderful athlete. Her only dilemma is, what sport do I play today? With the help of photographer Tom Stasiak, we give you the story. She may set a record one day for daily shoe changes. There are the track shoes to run fast, and then there are the golf shoes to hit balls.
Push, 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 push.
Take a look at one of the few college athletes in America who run track and who play golf.
Take your time.
Leah making 4.
I'm competing Mondays and Tuesdays, and then in golf, and then I will be competing Saturdays for track. So it won't be too bad.
Actually, it's quite good. Leah, as an 18-year-old freshman at the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy, has already won conference championships in the 60 meters and the 200 meters.
As far as talent goes, she's a sprinter, she's a racer. So whatever the competition is, I have a lot of confidence that she's going to step up to the competition and perform on a high level. And she's not afraid to get on that line and perform at her best.
After finishing 14th in the Nationals in Florida this weekend on the track, she was walking into Topgolf in Midtown today. The golf season has just begun.
All right, a little bit more rotation, swing out to right.
And it's time to hone her game with golf professional Kevin Collins.
Mental toughness, definitely a well-rounded player, high-level abilities.
The golf swing is so complex and so tough to master, and that's why Leah actually loves it more.
I like the challenge of golf better than track.
Why?
Because I'm not already like at a high level in golf.
Leah Macon Ford, the dual sport athlete at UHSP. And not so shocking, she's also a wonderful student. And she didn't get to play golf in high school because Metro didn't have a golf team. So she's been working at Topgolf with a great pro like Kevin. And her swing is just beautiful. I mean, great tempo.
Are there some carryover muscles that you use in both sports that make her make her a good golfer?
I think these are about as different as you possibly can be, because one's explosive, the other one's about tempo. But I like her chances. And I think that it's really odd because most of the golf matches, or a lot of the golf matches, are Monday and Tuesday. And then the track meets are the weekends. Now, she's practicing every day, both sports. Yeah. But boy, what a life.
I've never seen that combination.
Yeah.
Frank, thanks.
A fan favorite is returning to a Dogtown tradition, but the luck has run out for St. Patrick's Day revelers with a sweet tooth.
Well, we're exactly 2 weeks away from St. Patrick's Day and the 41st annual Ancient Order of Hibernians Parade in Dogtown. And this year, the beads are back.
Organizers banned floats from throwing beads in 2023, saying they were a nuisance to the neighborhood and caused a lot of waste and trash. With the return of beads, candy will no longer be thrown from floats.
And Jim has one last update on tomorrow's Weather Impact Alert Day.
Yes, so we'll start out with a chance of storms in the morning. If we get those storms going, there might be a hail threat. Later in the day, a wind threat from those storms. And highs only in the 50s, and then it's just not only windy tomorrow, gust of 40 miles an hour, a gust of 50 on Wednesday, and then by the weekend, clocks go ahead 1 hour, spring forward, and we're sunnier and high temperatures in the 50s.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. Of course, we're always streaming on the free 5+ app.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.